We bring in Murray McCormick from the Regina Leader Post, who it's been a long haul. Hey, Murr, they weren't lying. You look
great.
Guys. Hey, good to see you. Happy?
Thanks. Congratulations.
On what?
All right. On your 500 plus shows. Way to go, guys. You guys have really kind of stuck around. You've created a real niche for yourself, and way to go. Congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment and quite a milestone. And here's hoping you get to 1,000. Wouldn't that be something?
Very nice of you to say that, Murray, and very nice of you to do the feature on my compadre over here, Darren. So we all appreciate that very much. And I thank you for your help because you've been a great supporter. But for you, I'll say congratulations to you. Happy CFL season, man. How does that feel?
Oh, man. I hate to go this way. I thought, what if they said no? How I would have felt on Monday morning knowing that was coming down. But I just went, it was a feeling of elation, almost up there with getting my first shot. My first dose of the coronavirus vaccine. That was almost as emotional. And finally, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and finally things are coming together. And it was so exciting. And so I'm kind of I'm a holidaying sports writer, doing perhaps the biggest story of the year to the next biggest story of the year. So I've kind of been able to sit back and watch what's going on. But I'm back to work on Monday, and I'm so looking forward to just writing stuff about football and who's going to be the weak side linebacker and who's going to be that. Are they going to go with all-American tackles, which are all going to go over? So Monday's going to be a great day, and I think it's going to be a long stretch and a lot of good football. And our fingers are crossed and everything works out perfectly for the CFL, because you and I have both been around long enough knowing that if things can go wrong, it can happen to the CFL. And I would hate to see something derail what has gone on, to be sort of derail this great feeling of optimism that's kind of taken over the country right now.
Well, Murray, you're being very humble, of course, and that's you. But it's not like you haven't been writing about the Riders. I very much enjoyed your series of reviving the Riders, and Van Stone's been doing his thing. And maybe before we look look forward, let's look backward a little bit to the last 16 months, because you very eloquently covered how this team has stayed afloat in the pandemic. Can you tell our viewers, what you wrote about there?
Well, I think first thing, we got to say congratulations to Craig Reynolds and everybody in the Rider organization. And we don't usually do that in the media. They put themselves in position to come out of a 16-month non-season with still their emergency fund intact, which means they have a way to start the season with $7.6 million in the bank, which will give credit to the Riders. And I think you mentioned, there's people lost jobs during this. People lost their livelihoods. And we kind of overlooked that. That's not easy. And I know some friends of mine with the Riders who are no longer with them, and it's going to be so different when the season comes back. So kudos to the Riders. And I'm thinking, I was walking on the bike path this morning, and this guy mentioned this series. He says, Murray, I was another one of those guys who bought into the 3-year MVP plan. And I think it's just a sign of showing our support for the Riders. So the fans have stepped up, sponsors have stepped up. And now last week when the players signed that memorandum that they were going to agree to whatever the season is going to be a season, they stepped up. So everything has come together very well. What we have to realize, and I think people are going to, if they follow the Riders, they're going to lose money this year. I think that's going to be just without a doubt. Even with getting a 14-game schedule, they're still going to lose money. There's long-term effects from this, and it's not going to be something that's going to be solved just coming back and having a full stadium in the first 4 or 5 games of the season. There are long-term effects from this, and I still wonder what they're going to be doing in 2022 and beyond, and hopefully they can come through this. But I think under the leadership of Craig Reynolds and the Riders and Randy Ambrosie, I think they're going to come through okay. But boy, there's still a lot of work ahead and so many things to go on with that kind of temper my enthusiasm, which is good because you got to be, as a sports writer, you got to be a little bit cynical, a lot cynical. And but boy, it's good reasons to celebrate, but there's also reasons for concern. And I think this series, showed that a lot. How just some people know, particularly. I like the piece I did, but on what's the impact on Mosaic Stadium and how they're going to get fans into there, and they still haven't really shown up with the reopening Mosaic Stadium and what's it going to be like, and it's going to be different. And I don't think we're going to be bringing money to games anymore. I think it's going to be all our credit cards. And I like to say, I've had the same $20 bill in my wallet since the pandemic started, so I don't think cash money is going to be around very often.
I don't doubt that for a second. Tacona Powley and Winnipeg writes in and says, congrats, Riders, on staying afloat, but it's time to get ready to sink in the Banjo Bowl. So I'm just throwing that in there. One thing I have noticed was the jubilation of the fans with the announcement on Monday. Murray, that's undeniable. I got a lot of friends in Winnipeg now writing me saying they've booked their hotels for the Labor Day Classic and stuff. That's been really nice to see.
It has been nice. It's nice to see people happy and talk about the CFL. It was just a good day Monday. I golfed badly, I hate to say it, but that's the way life goes on. But it was a good day to be a CFL fan, to be a CFL follower. And it's so nice that they got their stuff together. But as we still remember, there's still issues to be worked upon, and the people have to sign off on the return to plays and all those kind of things. So hopefully that proceeds rather smoothly. But hey, August 5th is going to be a great day. August 6th is going to be amazing at Mosaic Stadium. And I don't care how many fans are in there, it's still going to be a pretty wild and amazing area. And I expect tears. I expect a lot of tears of people will be just not just from something as simple as returning to football, just as simple as life coming back to itself, as that light at the end of the tunnel that we've been seeing for so long is finally here. And I think people are going to be emotional, and I don't blame them. It's going to be a big day, big day right from through, and hopefully maybe we'll be working until December 12th. That'll be something amazing if the Riders go to Hamilton for the Grey Cup.
Did you see what was the announcement from Scott Moe this morning? It's since I've been on the air here, people are going nuts that he's cleared a full stadium. Is that the deal? Did you see that this morning?
That's what yeah, basically that's what I just scanned it quickly. Yeah, he's going to say that he figures by the August 5th there'll be full house at Mosaic Stadium, which is, they're still not over the 70% threshold, which seems pretty optimistic right now, which is only about 1% left. But yeah, he says they're going to be full fans for the stadium. Wouldn't that be something to say for Saskatchewan? But we aren't in a bubble. We're still connected to all the other teams across the league and how they progress. And we got to have someone to play. So if they got to have someone to play, they got to have their houses in orders too. So hopefully everything comes together and Scott Moe's right. But it's kind of nice to deal with some positivity, isn't it? I think it's fun. It's kind of not a bad
absolutely. Thing. By the way, Jeff, the Stampeders fan, is watching in Calgary. He says, I expect tears too when the Stamps come to town, Murray. LOL. I'm just going to put that out there. Brenda Motes. Hey?
Excuse me. We'll see them enough 3 times in a row. That's good.
Yeah, I will ask you about that. Brenda Motes in Saskatoon's watching. She says, I just decided to become a season ticket holder. So excited to go to the games. From Nelson Hackowitz, she says, no restrictions was basically Mo's announcement. So I guess we're saying no masks, no social distancing. So full stadium. That's what would tell me there's no restriction on capacity.
I have to come clear some transparency. I booked holidays in the first week of August, not anticipating that the CFL might be a little bit put off, might not start on time. So unfortunately, those holidays are being unbooked, which is fine. I don't mind doing that. But holidays have to be booked and you have to do some sort of certain things. So yeah, I'm looking for a full stadium. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be just a celebration of that building that sat so empty? It almost been kind of like a statue to what, that big empty stadium, but why isn't the CFL playing? And now if it can be full on that first game, that'll be such a push for the CFL and for the Riders' bottom line. Now, how they're going to deal with everything, that'll be interesting stories for the next little while, how they're going to distribute tickets. Kind of the questions people have asked, do you want them handling your food? Do you want to have to wear a mask? Do you want to sit beside someone who hasn't been vaccinated? You have some special sections. So there's all those questions. I'm going to say I've been vaccinated twice now. I'm old enough that I've had my second shot. So bring it on. I'm legal. I can do whatever I hope I can do whatever I want and lead a good life.
Bailey, the Alouettes fan, Bailey Hines watching, he says, I was very unhappy to see the Alouettes won't be coming to Regina this year, but at least the CFL is back. And I like Bailey. I've known him a long time. I'm a fan of his, but I'm not here to listen to any complaining about the schedule at all after 600 plus days without games. What's your take been on the Rough Riders schedule?
Hey, we have a schedule. Let's live with that. And I think it's far better than the one they came out with in November. They came out with a schedule just in case to sell, I think it was to sell sponsorships and create some interest among season ticket holders. This is a real schedule, and I think we have it. So does it have some quirks? Yes, of course. 3 games in a row against Calgary is going to be interesting. I think that's going to be a lot of Calgary. I think 2 of their last 8 games are on the road. That's really bad. They're 6 of their last 8, sorry. And that's really going to be an interesting segment because I don't know how well they're going to play on the road, what the teams are going to like. Teams are going to be better because the Riders will be, they'll have that much of a season and stuff. But one thing the Riders do is they like having a lot of home games in the summer. And that's what they get in August, and that gives them a good chance, a good boost to the bottom line, a good boost to the team, get on a roll. Excuse me. And Yeah, so they have a schedule. I've looked at some of the things going, yeah, this is not great, but I just keep saying we have a schedule, we have a season coming up. Let's just look at that and enjoy what those schedule quirks bring to us when we're writing about in this season, which is going to be so much fun to decide 3 games in a row against Calgary. That's going to be a crazy schedule, I find.
I got my guy Sammy G watching in Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
He says, nobody has to play the Tampa Bay Bucks, so all the schedules look good to me. He's a scout. He's just saying, hey, you got a schedule. Go play. How hard could it be? Let me ask you this. Cody Fajardo was on that Zoom call yesterday hosted by the Regina Red Sox because he'll be the guest speaker at their virtual dinner. Were you on that Zoom or was Vanstone on that Zoom? Did you see what Cody...
Vanstone was on that.
Vanstone was?
I saw what he said. Yeah.
What do you think's possible for Cody Fajardo and the Green Men in 2021?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I've been looking at the roster and stuff, and I'm thinking, I think they can finish first in the West again. I think there's going to be enough strength on that team. I think Cody Fajardo is the one I'm going to be watching with a lot of interest to see how he responds after having this long break off, and I think he can step up. I don't see first place, but a lot of things could happen. And I like the signing, and I know it's going to of Dion Lacey the other day. And that's, there are questions at linebackers, I think, a little bit, but Larry Dean's a pretty good player in the middle there. So I think they can be in contention all the way through the season. I don't think that's a real stretch. I think Cody Fajardo's maybe has to step up and show what he's got. And he knows that too. He had a great first season as a Riders starter, and I think he can build on that. Just avoid those uprights at the last minutes of the games.
Well, listen, you're going to hear this a lot from me if you watch any of my shows. And I got this from my friend Mike Lee. He's an oil man from Mydale. But we were talking about it last night at supper, and I said, hopefully there's no sophomore jinx for Cody Fajardo. And he said he already had it. His second year as a starter was wiped out. It's over. So
that's a good point.
There's no sophomore jinx. His second year is gone. Can't get worse than that. Yeah. So I'll get to some of these viewer comments here, Murray. I'll let you go, but I appreciate the time. Thanks for this. I hope we can do it more, and enjoy summer here as you get ready for the season.
Well, 3 more days left of summer for me, and then it's back to work, or 4 more days. But thanks for having me on, Rod, and once again, congratulations on 500. And Darren, you guys keep it going. You're really helping the sports world. It's fun to listen to, even though I don't agree with you all the time. But
you never have. Why start now? Thank you, Murray. Thanks for all the help.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Murray McCormick from the Regina Leader Post joining us.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.